YouTube, you might notice that it skipped from day 15 to day 17. Well, when I recorded day 16, I had made some
if you're watching this on YouTube, you might notice that
I had made some changes to the Twitch settings, and so the recording got all messed up. So I did a day 16, but I can't post it because you just won't get anything out of it. You can hear me speaking the whole time, but the video itself keeps jumping. It's like laggy or whatever. So sorry, no day 16, but there is a day 17 today. We're getting right to it. So we did a big blind hand in day 16, and I want to do one again, especially seeing as how you can't really see that one. So let's take a look here. I filtered for showdown hands with pre-flop calling a 2-bet right here. So it's not a 3-bet pot or anything, just calling the 2-bet. So we can look at some big blind hands. And what we'll do, of course, as always, you can see there's no hole cards. I don't know if I'm a winner or a loser in these hands. So we're basically just going to look for the action, street by street action, And this is the first one that stands out. Look at that nice monotone board, straight flush possibilities. 2 different straight flush possibilities, 8-9 and ace-king of spades. Bet on the turn and river. I check call. So let's definitely take a look at this. Oh, before we open up this hand, what we're doing today is we're doing some range action. So we're going to be narrowing both the hero's range, my range, and the villain's range, whoever that villain may be. August 5th, this hand took place on. Let's pop the hand open. 8799455. Cool. So we'll take a look at this hand in just a sec. But of course, when we are hand reading 2 different ranges, we've got to have 2 different windows of Flopzilla open, along with hold EQ. So here's the hold EQ. You can see it's already tied in. Let's just make this hand, this range pocket 9s and 8s. Change to 9s and 8s. We're looking good. Let's make this one deuces and aces. Aha, deuces and aces. Oh, it's only a 50-50 chance between 2 over pairs in the range and 2 mid pairs in the range. How interesting. So I believe we're ready. We got all of our tools open. The final tool, the hand history. So let's see what happens here. nlholdemshark decides to open. He is a 45-14, so a bit loose passive. It is a steal position. It's a larger sizing right here, so that's going to come into play when we look at my calling range, because my calling range is going to be a bit tighter because of the larger sizing. Oh, well, then again, let's see. Okay, so my range is still going to be pretty tight because I'm looking at 2 different players, and I actually don't know who's going to be the villain by the end of the hand. It's probably no limit Holdem shark because of the stack size and all the actions on street by street, but it could be Bianca for all I know. So let's see here. First off, let's think about my calling range before we get into his opening range. So my calling range in general right here is going to be pretty narrow because it's a larger raise sizing, and I'm calling in order to see a flop 3-way out of position. Now, both of these players are pretty loose passive, so I would imagine I have a skill advantage here. Not exactly sure. It's a small sample, 13 and 44. But I should not be trying to get to flops in multi-way spots out of position. That's just losing poker. Heads up pots in position are going to be in general where I make the most money and where most of you make the most money as well. So this is not really a bread and butter situation. So my guess is it's going to be my hand is going to end up being some kind of a good suited connector, some kind of a pocket pair for set mining, maybe a suited ace, some good Broadway cards, things like that, things that can flop pretty well. And most likely it'll be suited. If it's not suited, it's got to be 2 really good, strong cards like King Queen maybe or Ace Queen that I don't feel like 3-betting, as well as pocket pairs if it's not suited. So let's take a look at my range first. Let's see here. We want to look at not a 2-betting range, but a call 2-bet range, because automatically that's going to be removing the hands that I'm always 3-betting. And in a spot like this, let's see, this player, what does he like to open with from the, raise first, from the cutoff? 40% of the time. I'm thinking with pocket jacks, I would be 3-betting here. So I don't want to remove, I don't want to keep that in my calling range. I'd like to remove it. Let's add some of these bad boys into the calling range because these are definitely callable. These are callable right here. Ace 10 suited is callable. Deuces all the way through 10s with the implied odds that I'm getting. It only costs me 60 cents right now to try to win 260. So that's pretty good. I need less than 25% equity. But at the same time, if you look at the 20x rule for implied odds for set mining, well, 60 cents times 20 means I only need $12 in the stacks behind. He's got 21. He's got a little bit, but I mean, this is the one I'm really concerned with right now. He's the pre-flop raiser. He's my most likely villain in this hand. So I'm thinking really, I'll get the details in a sec. I'm thinking this is really my calling range. I might be calling with ace 10 sometimes, but all these other offsuit broadways I'm not. King queen I'm calling for sure. King queen suited. Occasionally these are 3-bet hands, but occasionally I might call with them as well. So we'll keep them in the calling range for now. I'm fine with calling. Sometimes I turn them into 3-bet semi-bluff hands. Sometimes I call. Just depends on the opponents that I'm up against. If I look at these opponents, 3-betting 0, not super aggressive. C-bet's very C-bet honest, so I would like to get to the flop against a C-bet honest player. So I'm thinking these are good hands to be in my calling range right here. I'm down with this. 162 combos, 12%. What's going on? There we go. Here's my notes in the big blind. Cut off, loose passive opens, button, loose passive calls, and I overcall. Flop comes down, turn comes, river comes, and just notes right here. Cool. Alrighty. Oh, once again, you can see this on the bottom of the screen. You can get these templates at splitsuit.com/templates. Totally worth it. Get you constantly thinking about, well, seeing the range output like this, but also thinking about percentage form and combo counting. So I'm good with this range. I mean, I could add a few others. I'd probably or possibly call with King 10 suited. Let's actually add that one back in. Come to think of it, I would be going all suited broadways right there. So 12.5, 166 combos. Good, good. Wait, did I get that right? I don't think I did. There we go. Slight change right there. The King 10 suited got added. Great. So that is that. So now what is this guy's opening range? He's a loose passive player, but he does like to open in the cutoff. So we will start with kind of a wide range, and let's maybe narrow it down from here. All the pocket pairs. Not sure what he would do with deuces. I only have 40. Got to move that window so I can find it. Only have 44 hands on the guy. So I just don't know. My guess is he'd be limping with those tiny pairs, but I don't really know that for sure. I could take them out, but for now I'm going to keep them in the deuces through the fives. I mean, he's making it over 3 big blinds, right? So he's really trying to steal. Or he's got a really good hand that he likes. He's trying to get max value out of us. Maybe he knows this player and is betting a lot to charge him to call in position. Possibly. So let's give him every single pocket pair. It makes sense. All the suited aces, even all the offsuit aces, might as well. I don't want to go too... I'm good with every single Broadway. And then for the suited hands, we could go down a tiny bit, give him the Queen 8 and the Jack 8, give him the 9 set. Let's give him back the 7-6. Yeah, I'm good with this range. 414 combos, 31% altogether. It's a pretty good range from the cutoff. Yeah, so he is a loose passive guy, but it is a steal position, and I don't know much about him. I'd rather err on the side of pre-flop, giving him a slightly wider range, and then narrowing it down through the streets. Hey, now you said it joined. Hey, now you said it. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time. I appreciate you spending some time with me here. So, take a look at that range. Nice and big range. 31%, 414 combos. So if we take a look at just how the two ranges stack up right now, we're about a 50-50. We do have, because he's got so many weaker hands in his range, offsuit aces, suited broadways, or weaker suited kings and queens and the offsuit broadways and stuff. Even though we don't have the jacks through aces in our range, we have so much just so much better equity with all these hands. They have so many weaker hands thrown into their range that right now, before the flop, we're a 52% favorite. So I like calling with this range, even though we have this short stack right here. And then this short stack's range is really big. Without a doubt, it is. So let's see what happens. Flop comes down. Jack 10-7, all spades. Nice. Look at that. Yowza. So now it's still a 50-50, just with the pre-flop ranges, not seeing any flop action right now. 50-50 shot to win. Let's see what happens. I expect to be checking here. Check, check. And then a bet, 176 into 265, 80. That's roughly 2/3 pot or so. I'm calling with a very wide range right here. And I'm hoping, actually, you end up staying in the hand because we're ranging you. Just assuming. I can always change this range. Go back and change. I hope I don't have to. But let's see. I do just check call right here. So I'm calling also, if you think about it, I'm calling knowing that no limit Holdem Shark could be check raising, could just be calling. So I might go to the turn three-way still. So I probably have a good draw. I really doubt I have like a set of 10s or a set of 7s. I would be check raising here on the set of 10s or 7s to charge them to come along with a single spade, ace, king, queen of spades. So I am just check calling. We don't need to look at his action yet. Let's just narrow my range first. Yeah, well, definitely check calling with a straight flush. I don't want to give away the strength of my hand just yet. Flushes, they're all ace high. Oh, one king high. Yes, I can check call here for one street, basically trying to get action from this guy right here when I flop my flush. So we could do that. Straights, 9-8 suited, so it's not like I have a straight with a backup draw, with a backup flush draw. Oh, now you said to ask a question. How do you tap tab? Just on your keyboard. Yep, on the keyboard tab key. That's it. So like we just push it, whoops, click on it, push it right there, hit tab, and then bam, it changes over from percentage form to combo counting, and then back again. So when it comes to straights, I'd probably be check calling. I don't see any need to check raise right now. Such an ugly board. I want to basically, if I do have a straight, get to showdown as cheaply as I can right now because if you think about it, any ace, any king, any queen of spades is not going to be giving up to my raise sizing right here, which I'm getting value out of draws, but I don't think there's any shame in when the board is really ugly. And I do have the under straight. I mean, if a king, a queen, or an ace comes, there's a possible over straight. No need to build the pot. I'd rather try to keep the pot small right now with a flopped straight. So that's in my check calling range. Sets though, I would be check raising. So I don't like the check calling with a set because check calling with a set, letting another player come in cheap with a flush draw, forget about it. Let's see here. Let's see, 2 pairs, just the Jack 10. I like a check raise with the Jack 10 too. Well, no, I could just call with the Jack 10, trying to keep the pot small with the straight as well. Yep. Sets, 10s and 7s. No, those are in my checking range. Come to think, I am not auto check raising this every single time. On a rainbow board, I can auto check raise that with any of the sets. But on a super wet board like this, I might slow play occasionally, especially because I don't have top set here, second or third set. So let's keep that in my check calling range. Top pair, check calling, the flush draw, no flush draw. Mid pairs, check calling. They all have some kind of backup draw as well. I could check call one street there. Not a big fan of it. Weak pairs, no. Oh. Actually, no, we'll keep some of them in, possibly. Ace high, no made hand. Nut flush draw, yes, staying in. Second nut flush draw, yes, staying in. Sometimes I do check raise with a nut flush draw. Not always, but sometimes. Second nut flush draw, I can just check call there. Third nut flush, which is, the queen of spades, yes, I could be calling there. Weak flush draws. All that other stuff, yeah, I could be check calling there too. I mean, this is such a hard, it's such an ugly board, especially if I just have a draw. Now, on the gut shots, I'm often, against 2 other players, I'm folding the gut shots. Yeah. So, let's see here. We've got 100 combos in our range. and 69% of our pre-flop range. Oh, whoops. It was a 52% equity. It was basically a 50-50 at this point. A percent of 69, was it 100 combos, I think, right? Yep. Okay, now their flop, well, let's see what the action is now, actually. He folds. Okay, so let's do this. I got to flip. So that's the thing. I didn't filter the hands for heads up hands. So let's look at this person's calling range. Because we're not looking at an opening range. We're looking at a calling range now. Well, let's give it, because it's probably a pretty wide range here. Maybe not. Yeah, we could go. Maybe not that bad. Queen 6. These are in this loose passive player's calling range, definitely. I'm just going to give, because this person is such a loose passive player, I'm going to give Bianca a very tight 3 betting range of just queens or better. Just because I don't really know anything about them, 23-8. I'm going to say that a lot of hands can be in the calling range. Let's go 8-7-7-6. Let's stick with this. Okay, so we're doing a little flip-flop here now. We're looking at 40% and 466 combos. A little bit wider right there. Now these percentages are going to be different, but we can take a look at that. Actually, let's plug that in right here. That's real quick and easy to do. 56% equity we have now that this range is even wider. Jack 10-7. Great. So we're back to this. So my range is accurate. 100 cards. Check calling with. Now then, what is their range? What is their betting range on this board after playing pre-flop passively with such a wide range here? Betting the straight flushes, sure. Just it was a small bet, 2/3 pot, trying to build only had $6. It's possible trying to build the pot, but I doubt it. Let's take those out. Let's say that there aren't any straight flushes, because most people on the flop, they have position. They can choose to put money on the turn or river, and with such a short stack, it's so easy to get all the money, and there's no need to bet right now with the straight flush, with the 8-9 of spades. So let's take that out. Flushes, I think flushes can bet. Look at all that. A ton of that stuff is some weaker flush stuff. Could be betting here, trying to start getting value. Straights could be betting as well, just playing their... just playing the strength of their hand. They have a straight, maybe thinking that, we might have a flush draw, so they're betting. 2-pair could be betting here. There aren't any over pairs. Top pair. Now, this is such a loose passive player. Is top pair betting? I don't think so. Maybe with some flush draws, top pair would be betting, so we can keep those in a little bit. Oh, well, actually, let's just do that. Top pair with a flush draw. Right there. There we go. Mid pairs are not going to be betting, just going to be checking behind. Weak pairs, no. Nut flush draw, totally betting. Second nut flush, those are random kings. Okay, yep, betting. Third nut flush, all the queens, yep, betting. Weak flush draw, those are just a 9 high. No, probably not there. Probably just want to check in and see a showdown cheap with a 9 high flush. Open and straight draws, I can't see those betting. I see no reason without a flush draw to bet. Right there. So, based on that pretty wide pre-flop range, now on the flop, making that bet on such a scary board, we've narrowed it down pretty big. 20%, 27% of the pre-flop range, 126 combos now. We've effectively removed 73% of the range right here. It gives us a much better idea of how we can approach this player when we remove so many cards from the range. All right. I like things here. So 126 hands, 100 hands, and we have only 35% equity. And that's because we've kept all of these really strong hands in this range right here. Yep, 35, 64, because we're on quite a big draw. What's going on? Okay. Or not on quite a big draw. We have plenty of draws in our range still right now. So we don't necessarily have the best. Yep, good, 100. Okay, we're good to go. Queen of Spades comes. Well, yep, 26% equity and 74% equity for that wider range right there. So now, based on that action, we were able to put our opponent on a much better hand and plenty of other good draws too, which that Queen of Spades filled up a ton of those draws. So right now, things are just looking a little bit ugly for us up here with only 27% equity. Let's see what the action is. Less than a pot size bet behind. And I decide to lead at it. That's interesting. And just a call. Look at that. I think... Man, I should have just bet. I should have bet half of their stack. I should have bet 225, 250, or just even $2. Try to get them just to shove and commit, because I'm pretty sure with this bet I have a flush. I'm pretty darn sure of it. Straight flush, the nut flush, the second nut, third nut flush. What were those again? Now pocket nines. I don't. Well, maybe, but I don't think I'd necessarily be betting those. Probably just check calling with the third. Three of a kind sixes. Yeah, those are in my range. No, not for betting here. Probably just check call and try to get to a river cheaply. Yeah, so look at that. I've narrowed myself down big time. Whoops. To basically just 17 combos, 19% of my flop range. Man, because the only reason I'm betting right here, it's not a bluff. There's no way I'm getting a $5 stack to fold in a $6 pot on that board right there with any kind of spade. Sure, they could be folding, a random jack, ace jack without the ace of spades, but I mean, there's no reason to bluff at this pot, because he's folding out everything that I beat. I'm sorry, he's folding out everything that beats me if I'm bluffing. Wait a second, I keep saying that wrong. If I'm bluffing, there's no need to bluff here, I should say, because he is not folding better hands than whatever I have right now. That's what I mean to say. Goodness gracious, tongue-tied. So there's my tiny range. And now what are you just calling? Why not shove on this range? It's got to be like a 9-high flush, right? I mean, you have a straight flush. I'm getting it in no matter what. You don't have the nut flush. You have the second nuts? And you're slow playing? With all those random kings? No. You have the third nuts. Third nuts are worse. Three of a kind could possibly, now that you don't have a full house just yet, you could still have a three of a kind hand. Two pair just calling? Yeah, two pair could call too, hoping for a full house. No flush and no draw. No, So we've effectively narrowed, wow, big time here. 36% of the flop range to 39 hands. Jeez. So as you can see right now, with things narrowed the way they are, because we basically have first and second nut flushes, just that's it in our range, and he only has third nut and below. So we're just betting for value right here. We're not scared of anything, because I did not bluff that turn. There's no way I bluffed that turn. The 10 hits, and then just basically making a bet to put them all in. If they had two pair, jack 10, if they had a set on the flop, so be it. They just crushed us now. So by making this bet, the 10 of, was it hearts? 10 of hearts. And so now look at that. We're 50 or 58% versus 42%. But with that size stack, there's no way I'm check folding with any kind of flush thinking that they have a full house. I just cannot give that up. I still have my entire range right here. 100% of my turn range is betting on this right here, without a doubt. So the river card, 10 of hearts comes. Our range's equity goes down to 58% and 42% right there. And on that 10 of hearts, their river range is, they're not calling middle pair. Yeah. So it's basically just these 15 combos right here. That is all they have. And my river range is the exact same as my turn range, because there ain't no way. 100%, 17 combos. And theirs went down a little bit here. 15 combos and 46%. Great, so let's see what happens. King, queen, good. And then the 6-8. Was that in their range? 6-8 suited. I removed from their range. And the king queen off is in my range. So I was successful on my part of it. I did get that right. 6-8 suited. Oh. Wait a second. Those should have all been calls. If they're calling... No, get rid of that turn. Now, why did I remove third? 6-8 was in. I thought that was in. I have to go back and watch this video. I don't know how I removed that 6-8 suited because I had all the flushes in their calling range right there. All the weak flushes. There's no way they would fold out worse flushes. So I don't know how it got removed. I got to go back and watch the video and figure that out because that's a mistake in the hand reading process. That should not have been removed, the 6-8. Because every flush was in the range for calling that. There's no way they're folding the turn, thinking that I have the ace or the king. They're not going to be folding the 6-8. The gut shot straight flush draw. No way. Where was that? So I removed fourth nut flush? Darn, I got to go back and watch the video and figure that out. All right, but I've got to say that it was a successful hand reading right there because I definitely had every flush in the range. Maybe I accidentally didn't click that as the filter. I don't know how that could have happened. 6-8 was in pre-flop. Now you said it. So if we remove both of these right here, here's the pre-flop range from the very beginning. 6-8 suited was the third worst suited gapper. And so I had it in from the start, from the get-go. And then so on the Jack 10 7 board, and so that is a flush. And I said that they could have bet top pair. Oh, all the different flushes are in, right? And so, yeah, on the flop, I said that they could bet right there. Makes sense. And on the queen of spades, I said that they could check call. I mean, everything's checked. Yeah, I don't know how it got removed. I need to go back and watch that video because it should not have been removed. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for watching day 17 of 66 in a row. And so catch me next time when I come back for day 18. Have a good day.